Hey everyone, thanks for your support in 2024. We have a lot of cool stuff coming in 2025, and here are some of the things you can look forward to as we move into next year. In the lead up to The Mandalorian and Grogu in 2026, we'll be starting a full series rewatch of both The Mandalorian and The Book of Boba Fett on exploring hyperspace lanes beginning in October. You can also expect a rewatch of Andor, and we will have reviews of every episode of Andor and the rest of the Skeleton Crew as those come out. Josie will be returning as we continue to rank every Star Wars thing released ever. Reviews of every episode of every Marvel Disney Plus show, including Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, The Eyes of Wakanda, Wonder Man, Ironheart, Daredevil Born Again, and Marvel Zombies, the day after each episode releases, will be available on Beware of Spoilers. We'll be having special event podcasts on 30-minute reviews for the Academy Awards, our 2024 year in review in early January, ranking all of Phase 5 of the MCU after Fantastic Four First Steps comes out, and our 10th anniversary special. Once we complete our rankings of all the Pokemon games on the backlog files, we'll be moving on to Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy. Over on the YouTube channel, you can join in for playthroughs of Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga, Pokemon White, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Blue Rescue Team, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, Kingdom Hearts Recoded, Mario Golf Toadstool Tour, Sonic Adventure 2, LEGO Racers 2, LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga, and SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom. Want to keep on top of all the new things we have coming? Subscribe at mwpnews.com, subscribe on YouTube at youtube.com/@mwpnews, or subscribe to Beware of Spoilers, 30-minute reviews, exploring hyperspace lanes, and the backlog files on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. Again, thank you for your support.
Good morning, well, afternoon, whatever, and welcome to 30-Minute Reviews. I am Adam. So it is Thursday. We're going to be talking about Captain America Civil War, but we're calling an audible because a huge trailer dropped this morning about a half hour ago from when I'm recording this. It's like 9:35. I'm on my way to work. I've seen the trailer 3 times now. I want to really get a sense of it. And we're talking, of course, about the first theatrical release of the DC Universe. In this case, James Gunn's Superman movie. And I really enjoyed this trailer. I think that it's one of those things where it's a teaser. It's just meant to be kind of lofty imagery to get you kind of hooked in without really any information. And some of the things there are a little bit like it's meant to be a grabber. Like the trailer opening with Superman just getting fucking like thrown down in the Arctic and just like bleeding and having gotten his ass kicked is meant to immediately be like, oh shit, this is, something big that we're dealing with. Like it's that image of him down, and then him calling in Crypto, and Crypto being, Crypto, take me home. Like, and then Crypto grabbing the cape. Like, it's one of those things where it's like it's all meant to be imagery, and I think a lot of the imagery really works on me. Like seeing, I was on the fence when the casting was announced. You can go back on the show and listen to me be on the fence about the casting of Rachel Brosnahan, because there was someone else who was in the running. I'm like, oh, she would be perfect. And then seeing her in this trailer, kind of in the role, like, and in the space, and it's like once I saw her as Lois Lane, like physically as Lois Lane. We don't hear her talk. We don't hear her do anything. But just seeing her at the Daily Planet and seeing like the way she's carrying herself, I was like, oh, that's absolutely perfect casting. Absolutely perfect. That is, fantastic choice. From what we see of David Corenswet, I like, and if you listen back to the Beware of Spoilers I did about Twisters, you can hear me say, like, oh, I'm sold on him as Superman. And I think that, like, that's the thing. I think he does a great job here with, in what little we see of him. I don't think we even really hear him talk. It's mostly like, we see him with Pa Kent, we see him with Lois Lane, and we see all them, all of which is really interesting. And I think that he's gonna play this conflicted in a way that I think that Gunn can better handle than Snyder could have. And I don't want to sit here and just beat down on Snyder. I'm not going to do that. I've beaten down on Snyder enough, and I'm going to continue to beat down on Snyder in the future. I'm just going to try to avoid beating down on Snyder as we talk about James Gunn's new DC universe, because that feels, I don't want to say like punching down, but it feels like an unnecessary level of additional vitriol that we don't necessarily need in the discourse. But that said, I think that, like, it's hard not to compare the two, considering the most recent time we got a Superman movie. It'd be like talking about, the Batman without bringing up The Dark Knight, or talking about, again, Joker without talking about Heath Ledger. It's you always going to go back to what was the previous thing in this same franchise, and how is that different from what we have now. I think that there is, like, there are moments in the trailer that feel kind of evocative of, Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, and kind of what they were trying to play with in those movies, and I don't think he did it well in those movies. But, like, there's that sequence where it's, like, the very small little bit where it's, like, he's getting shit thrown at him while he's walking into the Daily Planet as Superman, and it's one of those moments where you see that and you're like, oh, well, clearly this is meant to be, I think this is going, like, the idea of Superman as an alien is going to be an interesting one. I feel like the issue was everything kind of handled in Man of Steel and all those movies was kind of superficial. We never really dived too deep into the issues. We always kind of act like we're doing, we're acting deeper than we are a lot of the times. And I think here, oh, look, an asshole with a Cybertruck. And it's like, here we have, like, this kind of bizarre, I don't think this is going to be, like, the key of the movie. I think it's going to be, like, something happens, and that doesn't, go right, and people are going to be pissed off at Superman. I think, like, apparently this movie's going to start kind of in the middle of action and kind of move on from there. Like, we're not going to retread the Superman origin. We're not going to, because at this point, everyone knows the Superman origin. The Superman origin has been done to death. Not just by Superman, but by anything the fuck else. Like, I mean, Superman's origin is not dissimilar. I mean, it's practically identical, but, and Goku came way later, but Goku has the same origin story. He's on a planet of warlords that's getting blown up. He gets sent to Earth, and there we are. And then becomes its protector as something so much more powerful. I'm interested in where this kind of moves through, like how they move through this story, because there appears to be a lot of things in play. Like, Lex has a good moment to shine in this trailer, and I do like how Nicholas Holt's kind of holding himself as Lex. Again, don't get much to work on, but we get a little bit of how he's gonna, like, maintain his stage presence, as Lex. And then the same thing goes for, what's it called? The same thing goes for, I think we're dealing with Brainiac, I'm gonna be completely honest, but I'm not 100% if that's something that's been confirmed or talked about or anything like that. Like, I don't think Lex is the primary villain of this movie. I think we're gonna deal with something else, like something Kryptonian is gonna be the bad guy in this movie. And it's gonna be interesting to see how that kind of plays when all is said and done. I don't know necessarily if it's going to play well, and I think that is kind of the interesting, like, $1 million question, and I think it is kind of the same issue that I had kind of going with Batman v Superman, where it's like, this movie feels kind of bloated going into it, and I think that this new Superman has kind of a similar issue, where we're introducing a bunch of players and a bunch of things into it that are like, oh, here's things. It's like, he's in a building owned by Stag, and it's like, oh yeah, wasn't like I seem to recall Stag being a big part of Blue Beetle in the movie. Maybe I'm wrong on that. No, Cord was the guy in Blue Beetle. Stag was all over the Flash, and it's one of those things that it's like. So we have that. We have Hawk Girl. We have Mr. Terrific. We have all of these other people who are kind of here and doing this and are in this movie. But it's like, at what point do we, at what point do we deal with, this? Like, at what point do we deal with the idea that this could be overbloated? I don't want to be pessimistic out of the gate, because I want to give this movie the same benefit of the doubt that I did give the other movies before it. But very clearly, it's a very weird situation, because very clearly they're advertising this as the start of the DC universe, when that's not really the case. Like, isn't Creature Commandos meant to be the start of the DC universe? And are we already discounting Creature Commandos at this point just to try and push Superman? And it's like, it's one of those things where it's just kind of a little weird, and I'm not 100% certain why that is the case. And one other thing I wanted to really address with this is that this trailer came out today. Today Sonic 3 comes out. Today Mufasa comes out. I would assume there's an IMAX version of this trailer that's going to be running before one or both of those movies. If either, I mean, I think guaranteed Mufasa's running in IMAX, but I don't know if Sonic is. If I'm Warner Brothers, I'm just like, why the fuck didn't I run this trailer and make it known that I'd be running this trailer before Lord of the Rings last week? Because that's the thing, is that, like, even if you don't put it up on YouTube last week and you don't make it publicly accessible where everyone can watch it wherever they want to watch their video, like, that's what this trailer is. Like, even if you're just like, oh, by the way, if you want to get the first look at Superman and see Superman, theatrically before anyone else sees it next week when the trailer comes out, go see Lord of the Rings, and that trailer will be there. I gotta say, if that was the case, I would have figured out a way to fit Lord of the Rings into my schedule. I would have been there for that. And the thing is, too, this trailer is very good. Like I said, it's a lot of kind of lofty kind of imagery, more than it is anything substantive, which is fine. This is it's a teaser, and we're 7 months out from release. We're gonna get another trailer, and who is it? Warner Brothers has it, so what are they gonna tie it to is a question that I have. And that's gonna be, I just noticed that this truck in front of me has Heil written on it, so that's nice. I concretely think having, I think we're gonna get another trailer for this. I'm trying to think. Warner Brothers do they have NBA games? Do they have the NBA Final this year? I mean, if they have the NBA Final, well, there you go. Like, that's where they're gonna throw this. They're gonna throw the trailer before the NBA Final, and that will be, that'd be June. In March-ish, I would assume there's going to be a trailer at some point. And I know I'm thinking the way Disney works, but it'd probably be around that time. I would say probably March we get a more substantive story trailer. And if that's the case, I could see it being bundled in with March Madness in the NCAA basketball tournament, because you're going to have a lot of eyes on it. Because that's the thing, is that the other thing about this is that it's like, it's Superman, so you don't really have to bundle it with anything in the same way that I don't think Marvel really has to do that with Fantastic Four. But, like, isn't there a Monday night? Like, there's a Monday night playoff game for NFL. I think it's the first week during the wild card weekend, there's a Monday night game. And it's a playoff game. That would be my prediction that we're going to get a trailer for Fantastic Four. So, like, 3 weeks from now, I think we get the Fantastic Four trailer. I'm a little weirded out that they didn't put it out now to kind of get or even like a little teaser to get out with Mufasa. Even if it was the teaser they showed at D23, that's like not footage from the movie. It's kind of like a camera test almost. It's kind of like, hi, I'm Reed Richards, and it's Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. Like, to kind of get that in people's heads, but that's going to be the thing. And it's like, look, I'm just a little bit, let's see what the story trailer kind of gives us. I think imagery-wise, I think we have a lot of things that really look great here. And it just feels like Superman. And the theme choice to use John Williams' theme from 78, Superman the movie, but with an electric guitar, is just fantastic. Just a great choice all around. I think that this trailer is going to, I think this bodes well for the movie, because this is like I said, look and feel. That's where we are now. We are here to be like, this movie is going to look like this. We're going to have these characters. This is kind of a look at the production design and kind of like what the visual language of the new DC universe in live action is going to look like. And that is kind of an important thing. And that's the other thing, too, is that it's like, this movie feels like it's a lived-in DC universe in a way that the other one didn't, where it's like, look, I get it, like, Superman coming out and becoming known is kind of like the inciting incident for the DC, the DCEU, and that's kind of like a big deal. I mean, granted, things happened before that too, but like in the same way that like Iron Man, existing it's kind of the same thing. It's like now all these other things are going to come out, but it is what it is. And then you flesh out these things in the past that make the universe feel bigger, while without, like, it's one of those things that's, okay, great, they did that. I don't think that, the idea of doing this kind of in media res is an interesting idea, where, like, this is a lived-in universe. And I think that that's the other thing that Creature Commandos is kind of building towards, is this idea that the DC universe is something that, we have, like, Themyscira in the DC universe is already known. People know Themyscira exists. It's public. You can't go there, but its existence is known. And Cersei is there. She fucks shit up. I mean, granted, I don't know what the fuck they're not, like, why Superman isn't there. If it's in, we're gonna probably get an answer to that in the future. But yeah, this is an interesting change from what we had in the past, and let's see kind of how it plays when we have actual story details to go off, because right now we don't have any official. It's probably leaks or fan fiction, which is what a lot of those leaks actually are. But we don't have something concrete to really look at and be like, this is what the story is going to be, which is something that I'm very interested to see how they play. What's the story of this movie? Who's the bad guy? Is it Lex? And that's the only thing that really bothered me is it was something that bothered me about the costume reveal picture. The costume reveal where it was what's it called? Where it's him putting on his boots with that giant fucking green alien thing in the sky that, like, again, probably Brainiac. It feels very Brainiac coded, but like, it's like, really, you have this thing attacking the city and you're gonna take this moment, like, to do that? Like, that said, like, in the trailer we get moments of, like, Superman saving kids and Superman saving people all over, but like that's what I want from Superman. Like, just give me, the big blue Boy Scout. That's what I'm here for. And it seems like they're delivering that. That said, the fact that we're having this kind of romance scene with him and Lois at, in his apartment as he's getting ready to go out, and he's getting ready to fight probably Brainiac toward the third act of the movie, it feels a little odd that that's kind of what they're doing here. And I think the thing is, too, it's like, I think this is going to be about Superman learning to work as a team. Fundamentally, I think that that's what this is going to be about. And I think, too, one of the things that I'm mentally preparing myself for is I don't know if a lot of these Justice Society members are going to be around for a while. And I think what we're going to be looking at is, I think the overall arc of the first beginning of the DCU is going to be, here we have Superman learning to work with other people. I think that that's like Krypto's going to take him back home, and that's going to be him getting his ass kicked by whatever it is. Then he's got to work with the Justice Society to take down whatever the bad guy is, be it Brainiac, be it whatever. And that's going to be him learning, I'm not alone in this. There are others like me, and we are going to work together to keep the world safe. And that's going to be what his arc in this movie is going to be. That's my prediction. And then you get, Waller is very clearly trying to find a new solution for, the not having the Suicide Squad anymore because of the events of Peacemaker. So what we could be looking at is her using the Authority as that replacement. And it would be very interesting to see how and when it comes to a head with Superman versus the Authority, or the Justice League versus the Authority, like, that would be interesting. And I hope they don't, but I think there's a chance they kill off part of the Justice League, Justice Society, as they start introducing, he could be the bridge between the two. And I think that's kind of what we're going to be building towards. It'd be really funny if they just killed off Shazam. Like, if they brought in fucking Zachary Levi and just for that, to pay off that post-credit scene, and then just killed him off, and we're like, see, he's dead. You're welcome. It's one of those things where it's like, that's something that would be, and the thing is, too, it's like, you can't really do that, because I don't think, like, if Shazam is canon, then, like, there are a whole host of issues that fall into. We're not. If you want to hear me talk about that, go listen to the first episode of the Creature Commandos discussion over on, over on Beware of Spoilers. I talk about it at length, about how there are issues with the canon that come about as a result of this selective choice of what is and is not canon. But yeah. I am very interested in seeing this movie. I think that they're nailing the look and feel, which is what this trailer is meant to show. And, granted, the Man of Steel trailer did that too. The Man of Steel trailer, if I remember correctly, the teaser for Man of Steel, this was 11 years ago at this point, so it would have been maybe 12 years ago, because I think I was still in high school, because the movie came out in 2013, so if the teaser came out in 2012, then I would have been in college. It's one of those things where it's like, if I remember correctly, that teaser was Superman learning to fly, and it's a great, I forgot that he was in that too. Never mind. All right, whatever. It is what it is. Continuing the rule. Not continuing the rule. I would say Man of Steel is definitely better than Thor: Love and Thunder. But regardless, let's see this movie when it comes out. And tomorrow or Saturday we'll be talking about Captain America: Civil War. But until our next episode, have a great rest of your week.